have they done? What have they done to my boy? I should really be more mad about this news. I'm not in favor of Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate before we get started, but I actually already had a video for this, fully prepared, practically edited at this point, because there is a Megamind TV series that's been rumored about. It's at the end of this trailer that you're now seeing on screen. And I'd gathered together all the research there is, all possible thoughts of what this could be, rambling about the fact that this Megamind TV series, which is not the footage you're looking at right now, is being made exclusively for Peacock as a side little tiny thing. I was worried in said video that it was going to be like one of those cheap, plasticky Madagascar TV series. You know the kind? The kind that kind of looks like this. I had this whole video set out, it was all edited together, and then, bam, right in the middle of it, here's a trailer for something else entirely Megamind related, and similarly as plastic as those weird Madagascar shows where that tiny mort creature licks King Julian's feet, and also cannot die because he's a god, according to the internet. Now what I'm actually going to do is split up that old video into this as well. But what you're seeing on screen is not Megamind the TV series, this is Megamind 2, essentially. It is a sequel movie, also going direct to streaming exclusively on Peacock. It's weird. DreamWorks seem to be going on quite the streaming trend at the minute. They've just released Orion and the Dark yesterday, which again went straight to Netflix, and that felt okay. But Peacock, man, they are certainly something. In one fell swoop, they seem to have completely tarnished the legacy of Megamind, not only making it look bad now with this obviously cheap CGI that's meant more for like a set of toddlers and younger demographic for the movie that came out bloody 13 years ago, but also so many of the elements they've introduced in this trailer just outright go against the original movie. Megamind is a superhero now, and so he's doing superhero things. The TV series actually had a similar plot synopsis, or at least at one point it did. We couldn't tell what the bloody title was because they rebranded. Now it says it's Megamind Rules and Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate. God, it's confusing. It comes out March 1st? Jesus Christ, it's less than a month. Oh my god, this movie comes out before Kung Fu Panda 4. All those unfinished DreamWorks production details saying there was 2 movies coming out in the month of March were correct. I can't believe that wasn't just overlapped missing information. But yes, another thing this trailer adds, as well as the terrible animation, is the fact that now there's a group circle of villains in the mix, which doesn't make sense. The entire established universe of the original Megamind movie is that there are 2 aliens, there are 2 people with superpowers. It's Metro Man and it's Megamind. That's it! There wasn't a past group of Megamind friends and villains, because otherwise, that would be part of the continuity. It's just the 2 of them. It was just the hero versus the villain. They clash, all things are switching up. It makes sense they need to invent villains for this story because now he's a superhero, he needs some sort of rival, and he's already killed that toxic masculinity boy from last time. But to add the fact that these several villains, who by the way, there's several of them and it's a movie, why not just stick to one good one, whatever, is now also actually an old friend of Megamind and they don't know that he's turned good. It's just stupid, really, to be honest. I don't think I could really tell you a good detail about this movie. On the other hand, I kind of feel great about it because I run the Terrible series, so can't wait to cover this in a month. The content practically lands in my lap. There's also now this new young child meant to clearly be the self-insert for the kids who's now going to be helping with the bomb that Megamind gave her. And even on the character design front, they're kind of breaking the immersion of how Megamind was, you know? Everyone was like a classic, I don't know exactly how you describe it, but it's a parody of Superman, right? Now, it's like a parody of, I don't know, The Incredibles. You've got like the Thing lava monster, you've got Electro Lady, and then you've got a knight and a mime. This is basically just the universe of Incredibles, and like, I guess that's 1960s rather than 1930s and 40s, but I don't know, man. It looks cheap, it looks terrible. I really had mixed hopes about Peacock, because it's not a streaming service I have access to. It's almost exclusively the US. But alas, it's a shill. Many of us have been hoping for a sequel to Megamind. It's actually a fantastic original film, and now they've given it to us. But what was the cost? Now, the actual news around this movie and its subsequent TV series that they also, by the way, do just chuck in as a little note at the end of the trailer, it's kind of funny. It literally is just, Megamind rules. new series and new film with no real fonting. The branding is weird. The branding's gone through a lot of tumultuous issues, and I'll explain that by explaining how the original TV series idea had been marketed out. So before we knew the trailer, this is everything we knew. Alright, this is not how I expected to start the video, but we're going with it now. This is a thing that exists, apparently. It was announced a little bit ago. I'm just living under a rock. Or there's so many IP expansions, spin-offs, and sequels that no single person could possibly keep up. But I'm trying my best. Megamind is getting a TV series sequel. This franchise was practically dead for 14 years, and now it's being Frankenstein-monstered back into reality. The things we do to bleed money out of franchises that have a mild popularity. Although, to be fair, it's kind of a cult classic now. Originally, it was titled as Megamind's Guide to Defending Your City. Brilliant! A great old funny piece about Megamind in the main role trying to show you how to do things in this new world that he has to understand. Now it's just called the Megamind TV show. Alright? Not even it's just, is this like a placeholder? What am I supposed to expect? Yeah, it's the blandest text I've ever seen, actually. I've heard some people try to praise this title, saying it now insinuates that it'll be a real sequel to the movie. No, it doesn't. It just looks like they couldn't work out what the title is yet. More like Mega can't make up my mind at the minute. Now, I say that the IP has been dead for 14 years. Technically, that's not true. Beyond the film, there has been a 2011 short called Megamind, The Button of Doom. It only included Megamind and Minion. Still strange to think there was another Minion character established at practically the same time as Despicable Me, but it's the timeline we're not on where that became the popular one of the two. And there's vaguely a note somewhere that says the casting isn't even Will Ferrell as Megamind, it's Jeff Bennett. But this is unconfirmed by every other source I found on the topic. I would be very surprised if the voice of Johnny Bravo turned out to be Megamind, but I guess it's possible. Now, this movie was announced on February 11th of 2022, and it's not a major DreamWorks production, as much as this is obviously very clearly a DreamWorks franchise. It's coming from Peacock, who has ordered this new CG TV series. It's not DreamWorks news, it's just Peacock news. Now, I'm not too familiar with Peacock, to be honest. In fact, when I first read this news, I thought it was Paramount Plus. I have loads of opinions about Paramount Plus. Peacock is essentially just US only. In fact, when I go on the website, it specifically says, for US customers, Peacock is not yet available in your territory. Oh no, now I can't watch Love Island games. Oh. Thank you for made it halfway through this video. It's at this midpoint I poke you to subscribe. I did all this research into the Megamind TV series story just to have a movie trailer drop on me, so... Apparently February's just a hot pot for things releasing. The Sonic 3 trailer that I was also mid-video for, Orion and the Dark released, Avatar got a trailer. Marketing's fully going. Sometimes it's a high kind of day, and sometimes it's a Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate kind of day. Anyway, I'll let you get back to my actually prepared script part of the video. Thank you for making it this far in. Let's get back to talking about all things Megamind. The Megamind that doesn't exist. But it does seem to be this is where all the DreamWorks movies go to live and die, huh? Wow. I've been just searching through Amazon Prime like the schlep that I am. So I'm going to need a little bit of your help on this. Is Peacock a good service? It looks just incredibly run-of-the-mill. It looks like the kind of thing that your parents have as a streaming service. They've got all the best classics like Happy Gilmore and Ocean's 8, and then also Despicable Me and the DreamWorks movies. This just seems like, yeah, a weird middle ground thing. Sure, whatever, maybe it can get a new wind if it announces new series. What are the plots of this new series anyway? Megamind Defend Your Guide City or just be TV series title? Well, the plot synopsis supposedly says that this new project will chronicleize the new hero's quest to become a social media influencer and a true superhero. Oh god, they've turned Megamind into a social media influencer. Ugh, okay. Why? Because he likes presentation? Because he wants to get down with the kids? This really does sound like the kind of series coming from a middle-class mother's streaming service. Maybe there's a nice spin about it, but I feel like this feels very jaded and out of touch. A brilliant dumpster fire to witness. Oh, but then another plot synopsis also comes out about this series that just says it will focus on the transition from villain to human. Nope, villain to hero. He I guess he was never human, but yeah, the idea's still there. Instead being an actual, legitimate, just sequel to the movie. And it ensues as he learns to become a good person. Even though he kind of already did learn to be a good person at the end of it. You know, he kind of beat toxic masculinity and... Alright. Whilst going back to the influencer plotline, they then clarify that Megamind's trusty brain bots will be recording everything, making him the world's first superhero influencer. I mean, technically, I guess Elastigirl would actually take that title. She had a little camera on her chest piece, and that's from like the 1960s, I'll have you know, but sure. Okay, so brain bots recording everything. Is it going to be synonymous with creating a police state to protect the city, and that's going to be a bad plotline? Or is it just going to be, hey, I've turned the cameras on myself, now it's okay? Why? To show off the good that he's doing? I mean, that would actually make a lot of sense. If he just wants to show off the good he's doing, so he needs the cameras on him, and then he ends up becoming an influencer and he doesn't realize it, I guess that's something. Though isn't superheroism kind of like being an influencer in its own regard? Everyone looks at you, they know all of your moves. It's kind of like celebrity status. Everyone knows what you're doing, they have opinions on how you're acting. They'll have political agendas they'll want you to push or for you to agree with them. You know, like, I feel like it's... Alright, maybe there's some smart writing here, but the more I hear about this, the more skeptical I start to get. Going back to the other plotline, because I keep finding different synopses for two different stories here, another one says he'll be going from a superhero and the scourge of Metro City to a superhero who's learning on the job, and he'll bring the audience along for the ride. Bit of a split branding this series. How have you messed that up so quickly? It's kind of hard to tell which is true, and I don't know which is worse, to be honest. That being said, it's not all red flags going on. Looking at the behind-the-scenes crew, we have the original writers involved, with Alan Schoolcraft and Brent Simons as executive producers. Alright, at least they're attached somewhat. You've also got Eric Fogel also being the executive producer, previously known for Celebrity Deathmatch and Archibald's Next Big Thing Is Here. Right. And then finally you have J.D. Reisner as co-executive producer and story editor. Man, there's more executive producers to this crew than crew. And on August 5th, 2022, Brent Simons confirmed that everything's written and production had begun, with a tweet officially saying, Megamind's writer room is wrapping up today as production moves forward. If you're looking for some wonderfully talented and amazing people to join your writing staff, at Alan for Fallon and I got some dynamite recommendations. Hit us up. Good to know that some networking does just legitimately take place on the DMs of Twitter. Alan for Fallon, by the way, is Alan Schoolcraft, so yeah, the two main original writers. And to be fair, the original Megamind movie is a powerhouse of writing prowess, so these two clearly know what they're doing. We'll see. This series is aimed for 2024, but there's not too much known about it yet. There's been no announced cast on Wikipedia yet, just Jeff Bennett on IMDb. I don't believe that, but alright. And fun fact, even when it comes to the original crew doing their very soon after update with the video game of Megamind, only Jonah Hill returned to do voice acting performance for that game. Also, there is a video game. There are 5 of them. Don't make me do a super breakdown of Megamind video games like I had to talk about the several Home Alone movies. Please spare me. But looking at the sort of other TV series that get made for the DreamWorks IP specifically, when I think of this kind of thing, I think of Madagascar and Penguins of Madagascar when they got their TV series, and it all just comes off as so plasticky. Now, to be fair, these were made years and years ago. CG animation has come a long way since then. It's probably more cheap and efficient, and it's not going to look this bad, but it could do, you know? What is the purpose of this Megamind TV series? How high quality is it wanting to be, considering it's not even a movie? It's just a spin-off going straight to streaming, you know? There are some posters of the TV series shown. This is not from the movie. I couldn't tell you, it's just vaguely the main character, and it does look more evilly, so maybe it's not the villain scourge to superhero after all, or to human, I guess, but going by my own logic earlier. So who knows the bloody plotline? It was only through this poster that we even discovered that the title had been removed. Regardless, the original movie made $321.9 million. But it did become a cult classic of the 2010s. It had a budget of $130 million, and so it made a $190 million profit. Great. And there are other Peacock animated series being made, such as Babble Bop, and Abominable, and The Invisible City, also based on Abominable. I kinda thought Abominable was a bit of an abomination, but apparently they're adapting Abominable. Indubitably. But from the sounds of things, this is just a very Peacock thing to do. But if you ask me, this doesn't sound crazy promising. I am just doubtful about this project. I am saying it early with nary a video clip to go by, but when it comes to a spin-off series, it can really go in either way. A TV series can lead into a much longer runtime, so it's much deeper, more fulfilling, better, longer stories. Or it just goes into junk shows. They'll probably get a cult classic fandom of their own, but only from like the ages of 8 and below until they age up in the next decade. But really, we just know nothing. I'm gonna be leaning on the idea that it's junk, and now here we stand with Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate, the Megamind 2 we didn't want but we're getting anyway. Thank you, streaming services. Thank you, DreamWorks, for, I guess, selling out your IPs to whatever this is, side project. Even the memes are gonna look ugly and cheap. And hey, we finally have an actual title for Megamind the TV series. The branding is all over the place, and one of these projects comes out in a month. But hey, at least the marketing started, and we can all see incredibly clearly how negative we all feel about it anyway. Look at what they've done to our boy. More like out of Megamind, out of Mega Sight. On that note, I'm gonna end it off there. My name's been Daz. Thank you for making it to the end. Tell me a dialogue line you bet is going to be in this film or TV series. Find the most classic, tropey, cliche line, plug it down in the comments below, and we'll make a bingo game out of how many of these bloody terrible story beats come together. And I'll see you in a little bit.